Y'all, this was the longest and worst travel day of my life. Like, not just from traveling solo, I mean, just in general. I can't, nothing gonna top Jamaica coming back with the bubble guts. Yes, I was in the bathroom. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Ooh, that was 10 years ago. This was coming close because I almost got kicked out of Japan because I do not know how to read with comprehension, apparently. So let's get into it. I am going to be ranting a lot on this video, but before I do, if you are planning to come to Japan, make sure you understand and you adhere to the COVID restriction. Not COVID restrictions, but the COVID requirement for entry because I almost got sent out of the country. Like, the first guy was like not having it, and I was just like, okay, I don't know what to do. Please walk me, like, show me where I need to go, because he was like, you can't enter Japan. And I was like, well, I got a check bag. Like, so can I get that check bag and then go to the ticket stand? He said, no. To get that your check bag, that means you'll be entering Japan. You can't enter Japan. I was like, okay. I just sat there like I don't know what to do. But you have to be fully vaccinated with a booster to enter. And if you don't have vaccination, you need to have a COVID test result of negative. And even with it being negative, you have to quarantine for 3 to 4 days and provide them COVID results while you are quarantined in your hotel. So the guy was just like not trying to, he was just like, you gotta go. So I sat there and I just was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I really was like, I'm too hungry and tired to cry, and they ain't gonna get me nowhere anyway. And I'm usually the type of person that's like, okay, when people being just doing all this and hysterical, I'm like, okay, how do we get to this? How do we resolve this? I'm gonna be mad later, but like, how do I get to my end goal, which is if you telling me that I gotta leave the country, okay, well, let's go through the process of what I need. I need my bags with me to leave the country. How do I do that? Can I get some snacks up in here? Can I charge my phone? Because let me go back to this airplane, y'all. I'm gonna be jumping, just so y'all know. This was the worst flight experience. Oh my God, besides me having the bubble guts in Jamaica. Ugh, this plane was like Soul Plane. I feel like this is the plane they had in a movie or an old Spirit fleet. I have never flown Air Asia before, and I will never do it again. Well, I'm lying because I got my flight to get out of Japan is to go to Bali, and that's Air Asia, but I may cancel it. Both flights, when I left Thailand to go to Malaysia for the whole day layover, and then coming to Japan was Air Asia. They didn't even have no screens on the seats. I'm like, okay, it's okay. What are we doing here? I've flown Ryanair. They don't have it either, but the plane looked dingy and dusty on the first one. The second one, this is an 8 hour flight. There ain't no TV screens. They don't even have complimentary service. I said, not me flying the Spirit of Asia. I had to pay for. I didn't even get no water because I already had my own. But I'm like, y'all don't serve no hot meals up in here. Since I have left the United States, all my international flights, it's been like a hot meal, snacks, all of this. Korean Air, they even gave me some slippers, hair, all of that. Earplugs, hair, face mask. Air Asia is the Spirit of Asia. So I was like, okay. The flight was horrible. Like both of them, but the one coming to Japan was horrible. It was 8 hours. And I just want to know why people are less than smart when they fly on an airplane. The woman next to me, she first of all I had a middle seat. So I was like, this whole not having my status with flying is for the birds. And I was being cheap with this flight. It was already over $500 for me to fly from Thailand to Japan, and that's very expensive. Okay, I'm already in Asia. Why is it so high? So I didn't get a chance to pick my seat. I checked my bag, and I'm like, how? No, I did not. I could have swore I did. I got to look back at it, but I'm like, I would never sit in the middle seat. I would pay more and just not sit in the middle seat. I need to sit in the aisle, but I get there and a woman sitting in my seat. So I'm like, oh, you can have that middle seat. Well, little did we know nobody was going to take the other seat. So I'm on the end, she's in the middle, and there's a seat empty next to her. Why did she not move? She sat next to me the whole flight. I'm like, girl, I do not want to be your flight buddy. And I definitely am not about to talk to you. Sit in that empty seat. This fool stretched out, like literally leaned, almost touching me. And I was like, oh, I had to elbow her. And I'm not playing. I did elbow her, like, excuse you. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, girl, this is not your bed. She like took the other seat. I was just like, okay, I'm being tested. Let me go outside. So I'm like, I got my headphones on. I put my hoodie, on. And I go to sleep for like an hour. You know how when you fall asleep on a plane, you feel like you've been asleep for 5 hours and it be 20 minutes, 45 minutes. That was my experience today. Kept waking up every 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But anyway, she sat there and then she would move and she just was kept moving. And then when she was eating, she didn't move. And so I'm like, girl, we about to be throwing these balls because you can move over. And then she realized that towards the end of the flight that she could sit in an empty seat. Anyway, so that was annoying. And then once I realized how dingy this plane was, I go to use the bathroom before I take off. They don't even got no soap in the bathroom. I'm like, how we get on the plane and ain't no soap in the bathroom already? Really? Then I come out. I'm just observing the seats. They just look like it was giving very much 1989 flight. And I'm like, do I want to get off this flight? I text my mama like this plane is text my mama like this plane is dingy. I'm sorry for laughing, y'all. I'm so tired that you know how you tired, man, everything. And I decided to come on here because I'm like, hell, I got a quarantine for the next 3 days. So I ain't no rush to go to sleep. And I'm hungry, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I may just stay up until I can get some breakfast somewhere, or to have it delivered since I got a quarantine. But I text my mama like, this plane dingy, it's dusty. And right when I'm texting her that, why was it a fly on the plane? I'm like, how the hell is it a fly on the plane? Like, why is it so bootleg? So anyway, I got her stupid self next to me. Well, let me not say stupid. Her less than smart self. I'm trying to be better with my words, but she next to me. Seats dingy. Ain't no soap in the bathroom, and I hadn't even realized at this point they don't even give free snacks. I said, oh wow, when it came, I'm like, dang, I don't get no snacks. So I'm like, okay, I had to buy my food on the plane. So we land in Japan. I'm gonna give y'all this perspective. I landed at 10:05 p.m. and I did not get to my hotel room until 3:20 a.m. 3:20 a.m. is when this Uber pulled up in front of this hotel. It took almost an hour and a half to get from the gate to the line to even start the immigration process. It was a backup. This is a busy time of the year for Japan with the cherry blossoms apparently, and it's just been on lockdown, so it hasn't been a lot of tourism, so it just opened up, so it's crazy here. When I tell you, I'm like, okay, I have 2 shoulder bags, so I'm like, okay, we get to the part where you could get ready to go to immigration. I'm like, bet. And then like, you got this one medical form. I'm like, I fill it out. I didn't have it. Fill it out. That's the line. Get through that line. And then I go to show my COVID vaccine card. And they was like, yeah, baby girl, no, you do not, you're not fully vaccinated. So I'm like, okay. And then I just told you about the guy, and he was just like, basically, you can go. And I'm like, all right, that's not gonna work if I have all my belongings. So anyway, luckily a woman came over. She was very kind. She was like, what's her nationality? And she's like, oh, you American? She disappeared for a few minutes, and she came back, and then she was like, you can quarantine in the hotel. So I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Just as long as I don't have to do a flight and come back, because I have my friends are here. Jake and Ed are visiting me in Whitney. And Whitney, she's been going through it too. She missed her connecting flight, so she's not even gonna come to Japan. I'm so sad about that. So already she's not gonna be here. I was messaging her. I said, well, I ain't gonna be here either. I ain't gonna be able to get to the country. I landed for nothing. So I'm like, all kind of thoughts is going through my mind because I'm like, this has never happened to me with traveling. Like I never had not met the requirements and getting kicked out. And then what makes it worse is that I have people that came to visit me. Like, oh, I was so frustrated. Like this is, I am the responsible friend. This does not happen to me. So I'm like, what is going on? So I am able to enter, have to take my quarantine. I gotta take my COVID test tomorrow or the day after. I gotta look on the box again and then email them the results, and then they'll let me know how to proceed. So basically I'm losing the time I have in Tokyo because we're gonna be in Tokyo and Kyoto. So I may just switch my flights out and leave to go to Bali later so I can get all my time in Tokyo. Like I have been wanting to come to Japan since I was in the fourth grade. Like I used to be obsessed with Japanese culture. So I really want to spend a lot of time in Tokyo. So yeah, I'm just so mad because could be worse. So let me start there. Uh, it could be worse. I could have got sent back on a flight back to wherever because I don't even know where I would have went. But before even getting here, I told you the flights was dingy. I had a 17-hour layover. Yes, 17-hour layover. I've never experienced that in my life. And when I booked the flight, it was either booked it, I think it was $525 for this flight or pay 1,000. And I was like, ooh, what can you do with 17 hours? You can edit YouTube videos, you can get a little work done for Financial Garden, you can make the most of this time. And the layover was overnight. And so I found a hotel in a capsule hotel. I never did a capsule hotel before, which I wanted to come to Japan and try, which is basically, shout out to Gabby. She was like, so basically a coffin hotel. Yes, basically it's coffin size bed, rooms. And so I'm like, yeah, I did that for just so I could sleep overnight and then do some work. And I was fine with the layover. Then just after all of that, then getting here, it's like then not getting to my room, I was just like, wow, I was exhausted because the Malaysia airport, they didn't have a lot of food options. And yes, I'm gonna bring up food every chance I get because I love to eat. And that's why I'm looking like the Credible Hulk with these broad shoulders. This hoodie making me look like I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know. But it's not flattering. I don't care. It's almost 4 in the morning. So the food options were scarce in the Malaysia airport, the side that I was on. So I am running on no food, y'all, because I left. Let's back all the way up. When I got to the airport in Thailand, I was super early because the flight, I kept seeing the time in my head, but I looked at my Google Calendar and it was showing it in Japan time. I don't know what was off, but I was at the airport like 5 hours instead of 3 hours before my flight. So I used that time to call my friend Gabby, tell her happy birthday, and we were just talking, catching up. So I'm like, anytime since I've been traveling and I've had extra time with travel, I don't like it don't irritate me like it used to. I'm like, okay, what can I do in that time? Like usually it's always edit a video, read a book or whatever, but I don't get so antsy because it's not like I have to like be at work or whatever. I just want to know like, okay, how can I use this time? Because I know I could just relax, but I can't fully relax in the airport. So I'm gonna be doing something. So I wasn't really tripping about that. And then it was just like just getting to the airport in Thailand super early to the whole thing getting to Malaysia airport and not having food options. I was hungry when I got there. I got some food before I got on this flight to come to Japan, but that was a little snack. And then I didn't think I would not be eating. All the way now it's freaking after 4 in the morning at this point. So I don't know the point of this video. Besides, I'm just mad and I can't be mad at nobody but myself because I screwed up with the when not making sure I had the COVID stuff right. And thankfully, I was able to enter the country. But the line for immigration, everything was just so packed. I have never experienced this before. Like, it was even Jake and Ed, they were waiting immigration for over a couple hours. I have not experienced that entering into any country before. So just being in that line. And then I forgot about this part. After going from the COVID area to the immigration line, so this is my third line at this point because I had to do this QR code COVID line, then immigration line. That took forever. And then this guy did not understand personal space. Ooh, I'm like, why are you? I didn't say that. I just like had my headphones on. Thankfully, I was listening to my podcast, my favorite podcast, laughing, and people was looking at me like, "Why are you laughing?" Because I need to laugh and keep from crying because I'm hungry as heck, and I'm just frustrated with myself for this huge L I'm taking. And then you get out, my bag is there, thank God. Gotta go through customs. I mean, I went through immigration and customs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go. Get outside. Look what I see when I not even before I get outside. This is the line to the taxi. Now I got Uber. I checked to see they had like Uber is in Japan, and they have other ride sharing apps. So I downloaded those apps on my phone, but two of them wasn't even like loading or operating, and then Uber was operating. But I know of certain countries, even in the United States, you have designated areas to go for ride sharing. So I'm like, okay, let me just go to a taxi stand. I'm thinking it's just this line to get out the airport. No, it's lines on lines. So I kept requesting Uber. Some of the cars were showing not available, and then I finally got here. So yeah, and then on top of all of that, I don't know what happened with me. Why am I off balance? Because I had my accountability call this Sunday, and I forgot about that. So sorry, Rochelle and Sherika, because I just I don't know. I can't even say I'm doing too much because I've been chilling. I've been in Chiang Mai, so I haven't been traveling. So I'm like, dang, am I off my something off my square when it comes to travel? Because I made a lot of mistakes. The COVID thing mixed up. I was like, okay, but just there's nothing I could do about those lines, the immigration line, the customs lines. It's nothing I could do about it, but I just feel very bothered. So y'all gonna see a lot more of this face because I'm quarantining for 3 days. So that means probably more content, or I don't know. I was well rested before I got here. So anyway, I'm done ranting. Let me know what you thought about this random video. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.